here at the Frat House, and we're coming to you here from our pre-Valentine's post-Super Bowl show.
I was going to say, Mike, you shouldn't have.
Listen, I did one better than that. I did one better than that. Here you go, Sidekick. Would you be my Valentine?
Oh, there we go. Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
I'll be eating these all show.
There you go. Aside from that,
for crunching.
Terrific week we had this week in sports. Tremendous sports really all week long. I've been sitting here catching all the college basketball and pro basketball and ice hockey. But best part of the week, terrific viewership, folks. Terrific viewership. The channel this week, over 650 hits. Over 650 views to the Frat House. And terrific. Many thanks to all of our friends and our fans out there. And listen, you just encourage everybody, go out, check out the Facebook page, like it, keep tuning in. It's just going to get better. Terrific week. We got to start off with a terrific game. Fabulous Super Bowl game. Absolutely fabulous last Sunday. One of those that it goes down there as one that's just going to be talked about, I think, for many, many years to come. You got Eli Manning taking the MVP and the game. Second time that the Giants have beat the Patriots. Both of us didn't think that was going to happen. And beating them 21-17. And we'll just, real quick, we'll just do a little QB comparison just to get the last bit of stats for the NFL out of my system here. Manning was 30 of 40 for 296 yards, 1 TD, no interceptions. He had 103.8 QB rating. And his counterpart, Tom Brady, over there, 27 of 41 for 276 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception, 91.1 QB rating. Two guys that really, really very, very comparable in the way that they played. Terrific matchup, terrific game. But we cannot get away from what everybody has been talking about all week long, and that is really the fourth quarter and the last, I guess, really 3 minutes of that game.
Yep.
And we'll take a look real quick at those last 3 big plays, and I'm gonna pose it to you this way, Sidekick. Which one of these do you feel had the biggest impact on the game? And we can talk about the Manningham catch as number one. The Manningham catch down the sideline for 38 to 40 yards. Number 2, that goal line TD that just probably shouldn't have happened by Ahmad Bradshaw. Or 3, the miscatch by Wes Welker. Which one do you think had the biggest impact?
I think number 3. I think the Wes Welker drop was the biggest play of the at the end of the game.
Yep.
And that because had Wes
Welker.
Woohoo! Had Wes made that,
Right.
We might be talking about a Patriots Super Bowl.
Yep.
So, I thought that was the big play that didn't happen.
And
Game over, man. Game over.
And for the folks that were here at the Frat House, and we had quite a crew here, here for Super Bowl Sunday. Wow, they got to hear me in all my beauty as Ahmad Bradshaw went in on that touchdown that put the Giants ahead. I was absolutely furious. And I was furious at the fact that it was so darn obvious that the Patriots allowed that to happen. Just let him walk in. And I jumped out of my seat and I said, my gosh, you do not do that. You don't do that in a Super Bowl game. You don't do that in the last game. So,
for no man.
That's what they should have done. They should have moved for no man. All right? Now, having said that, I understood the concept. I understood exactly what they were trying to do. They were trying to get the ball back. But I said later on, what they shouldn't have done was made it look so darn obvious. That's what they shouldn't have done. Now, if we don't make that the number 1 play, then you have to go to the Manningham catch. Because, in fact, as we were talking pre-show, if the Manningham catch doesn't occur, then, in fact, that play, that goal line disgrace, didn't happen either. So, I'd have to say that the Manningham catch probably is the impact play of the game. I don't know. Did you want to throw anything in on that whole goal line thing?
Well, my thought.
Because I know you had some comments that night too when it was happening.
Well, see, and I agree with the call of letting Bradshaw through to make the touchdown. But I do agree with you about you don't have to make it look so obvious.
Yeah. I think that's what got my ire.
Yeah. Initially, it was you were all up about the play call.
Right.
But then as we talked about it, that play is called a lot in pro football.
And if they're doing it, then it's seamless. It must be seamless.
Well, exactly. You have to make it look like you're playing.
Right.
Just to stand up and just let somebody walk by.
Right.
Is equivalent to the Pro Bowl. It's a joke. It's now you've now made it a joke.
Well, I mean, this is the game. This is the game, and we're just
Exactly.
going to step back and go, there you go, you can have it. I mean, I was.
Yeah, at least try to put a hand on it or something.
The other controversy that has come up, and I'm just going to touch on it real quick because I was hearing a lot of talk about it today. The whole Gronkowski thing. Where do you fall on that one? I mean, here's Gronkowski out there dancing and having a good time at apparently what was a private party. I mean, it was Patriots. And it kept coming back to, well, how would you feel if you were a Patriots fan? And I made comments on the Facebook page. I don't know. I really don't care. But
I think it's a non-story.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, you're talking about he's a rookie. Okay.
Yeah.
He's early 20s. You're in Indianapolis after the Super Bowl. If it were me, I'd have been out drinking and even with the loss, I've been out there drinking everything else.
The question was more, do you do it, make sure that you're doing it, not so openly. I mean, we're in a day and age where everybody's got cell phones and everybody's taking pictures.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, and everybody was like, well, here he is dancing. He couldn't play during the game.
Right.
And, here he is out dancing. You look at the video, that's white guy drunk. I think I saw somebody call. I mean, I watched that video and if anything, I'm like, that boy is liquored up. So that's why. Exactly. That's why he was dancing like that. I honestly think he was feeling no pain at that point. He had enough in him. He wasn't feeling any pain. I mean, so I really think it's somebody trying to make something out of nothing.
All right.
The guy was out having a good time after the Super Bowl. I mean,
I'm going to make you feel some pain. Here, take a look at this picture. We've talked a little bit about this on the Facebook page about the fact that Nike will replace Reebok next year as the official NFL uniform company. And I've read and I've seen some kind of contradictory stories and reports about the pictures back here. Some are saying that these are fabulous. Others have said they're horrible. The NFL has said we're not sure. I mean, we're not sure exactly where this is going, but apparently these are concepts here. And I just wanted to get your feel on it. I mean, what do you think of this?
Well, honestly, these are the poster children. These are like the wide receiver quarterback ones. I'd like to see the O-lineman ones. That's what I'd like to see. Come on. Let's see how they look with a nice gut on them. See if they look that pretty.
Frankly, these have got to be some of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life.
Now, in all honesty, though, it's nice to see a fresh take on the uniforms.
Yeah, right. I think this is a little too over the top,
exactly.
frankly.
It's a little too extreme. I wouldn't mind seeing the NFL retool the uniforms. The uniforms a little, and maybe kind of ease in, maybe make them look a little bit more.
Yeah, I think this is just a little too much for most people's systems to handle.
Yeah, this was too much, movie-like. Movie-like.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to put the link up for all of the pictures. We'll put it up on our Facebook page. You go in, check them out. Let us know. You can sound off and weigh in with your opinions. I frankly think they're god-awful. God-awful. All right, well, we no sooner get done with the Super Bowl, and hey, we're already looking forward to the next major sporting event to be coming down the line, and that would be baseball. So here's our countdown. Countdown to baseball. We've got 9 days right now as of this moment to spring training, 20 days until the first exhibition games, and 55 days until the season.
One constant through all the years has been baseball.
There you go. All right, let's go ahead.
I thought the next great sport coming up was NASCAR.
Well, no, we're going to be doing we got that coming up. Daytona in 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
26th. All right, we didn't give you the leaderboard, the NHL leaderboard last week because they were just getting back from the All-Star game and they were just kicking back up. But here's a peek of how the NHL stands right now. Number one team right now in the league, Detroit Red Wings. Holy smokes, they're coming off an 18-game home streak. 18 games in a row last night. They have won at home. They are 2 games right now away from the NHL record of 20 home straight wins in a row, and they are leading the NHL with 74 points. Rangers in the Atlantic Division, we can't seem to beat them. Nobody can. Canucks, Bruins, Sharks, Capitals, in that order. That's the way they're running down the line. We promised you for weeks. We've been promising you hockey, and we are going to bring you hockey right now. We're bringing you hockey, and we're going to bring it to you every single week, and we thought maybe the best way to do it. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to break it down one division at a time, and tonight, we're going to be taking a look at the Pacific Division. And in the home two, Pacific Division, home two, the Anaheim Ducks, Dallas Stars, Phoenix Coyotes, Los Angeles Kings, and the San Jose Sharks. And so we're just going to run through them real quick. Let's start with the Anaheim Ducks. What do you got for us, Sidekick? Go ahead, talk to us.
We got the Anaheim Ducks. They are 20, 24, and 8. They currently are sitting at 48 points. I guess the big name on this team would be Teemu Solani, sorry. He's having, I'll say, a good season. He's up to, there's some records that he's moving up on. Not a typically characteristic year with him scoring a lot of goals. He's getting a lot more assists this season, and that, but he's still racking up the points for his career. So, and then also Jonas Hiller, the goalie, he's 17, 19, and 8 with a 2.82 goals against average.
And I was pointing out that it looks pretty good. The GAA there looks pretty good, but when you start taking a look at the record, in fact, that's a losing record being when you throw in the ties. We move over to the Dallas Stars. Currently find themselves in 4th place in the division with a 27-22-2 record. Jamie Benn leads that team right now in points with 15 goals and 31 assists for 46 points, along with Mike Ryder, who leads the team in goals with 19. Goaltender Kari Lehtonen is 19, 12, and 1 with a 2.43 goals against average. Both these teams, both of them that we just talked about, I think the Stars probably have a better shot of trying to move up than we saw with the previous one. But both of them right now sitting in the basement of that Pacific Division, which really is, in my opinion, one of the weaker of the 6 divisions that we're talking about. We got the Phoenix Coyotes. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Phoenix Coyotes, they're 25, 21, and 8, sitting at 58 points. Leading point scorer, Ray Whitney. He's got 16 goals and 33 assists. Mike Smith is their goalie. He's 21, 14, and 7 with a 2.43 goals against average.
You can't talk about him without throwing in Rod and Prabata and both Shane Doan as well. That's their strongest line. Coyotes are a good team. Watch them, I'm telling you. Los Angeles Kings very close to the top of that division right now, sitting just 2 points out of 1st place with a 26, 18, and 10 record. Anze Kopitar leads the team in points with 17 goals, 30 assists for 47 points. You're down then to Justin Williams, who's their 2nd place point scorer, 10 goals, 27 assists. He's actually working more with the helpers. Here's the key to them. That goalie, Jonathan Quick, just outstanding, making a name for himself. Big difference. 1.89 GAA, 23, 13, and 9 record. I'm telling you, watch the Kings. They're coming on. And the Pacific Division leader right now, San Jose Sharks, led by former Bruin in point scored anyhow right now, Joe Thornton at 44 points. Only 11 goals, however. So again, we've got ourselves a helper guy here. Logan Couturier, though, 22 goals, 19 assists with 41 points. Ante Niemi, boy, we've been hearing his name, it seems like a long time, shines as one of the league's premier shot blockers with a 2.29 GAA and a 22, 11, and 5 record. here's the key to the San Jose Sharks. They got two strong, very strong front offensive lines. Two, all right? Whereas with the other teams, okay, not as much. But I'm telling you, that San Jose Sharks team, that very strong. But watch the Kings. That's our analysis for the Pacific Division. We're going to be taking a look next week at the Southwest Division. All right, we're going to jump over real quick to the, we introduced this last week. Biggest villain in football. We're going to take a look specifically at football. This was spawned by the fact that one of our local cable stations this week, or last week actually, did a whole 5-part series on the biggest villains in Philadelphia. Biggest villains to Philadelphia fans. And they looked at, you know, different sports and different... I said, okay, let's tweak that a bit. We're just going to look at one villain. Could be any team. Could be, you know, but it had to be in your lifetime. And we're just going to look at one and we'll start with football, say, for instance. And we got some comments over our Facebook page during the course of the week. We had people saying, oh, Terrell Owens. We had Peyton Manning. We had Jerry Jones. We had Mike Vick. And interestingly enough, Mike Vick this week, it was reported all over the place. Mike Vick, most hated athlete of all sports across the United States. And so I ask you, who's your villain?
My villain is Bill Belichick. He's the evil genius to me. You know, he's willing to take the risks, push the envelope, you know, anything to get the win. But you kind of have to admire, you know, like that gives him that, you know, that evil persona. Yeah. But at the same time, you kind of have to respect his genius about.
I think you just became my personal hero.
You know, so that's my villain.
Your villain's Bill Belichick. Okay. Well, my comment to that last evening was, yeah, I think we should be looking at players, not guys that run the. How about players? I'm probably going to get some hate mail on this one, but. And I'm going to have a similar kind of sentiment to your own. I got to throw John Elway in there, okay? Mine goes all the way back to 1983, when this guy came out of college, out of Stanford, and he was drafted by the Baltimore Colts and stood there and said, I ain't going to you guys. And frankly, I got to tell you, as a young person myself, I sat there and I said, how dare you? How dare you? To dictate to us where you're going to go. Now, of course, we've seen this many times in other sports since then, you know. But the bottom line was John Elway was my first J.D. Drew, and I hated him for it, and I hated him forever. And I got to say this: I'm kind of with you on the Belichick thing. At the same time, I got to sit back in hindsight now and say, listen, the guy was the second, in my opinion, second best quarterback ever in the NFL. The guy, all more reason why I hated him, what he did in 2-minute situations. I've never seen a better 2-minute quarterback ever in my lifetime, and I would sit there every week watching him do that and going, I can't believe he did it again. That's my villain for football. Next week, we're going to take a look at, hey, who's the biggest villain in basketball? Let us know. Hit us up on Facebook. Let us know in advance and tell us who your biggest villain. All right? In the meantime, hey, there's a big show right there. We're coming back to you next week. All right? Keep it real. Keep it live. Keep it going.
Eli
Thanks.
Manning, you and the New York Giants just won the Super Bowl. What are you going to do next?
I'm going to Disney World. Your dreams come true.